What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Fast. Today, let's get started with Michael Bisping previews Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier clash at UFC 318. Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier are about to write the third and possibly last chapter of their rivalry at UFC 318 in New Orleans. The BMF title is on the line, and for Poirier, this fight also marks the last one of his UFC career. Former UFC champion and analyst Michael Bisping believes this fight is going to deliver fireworks. Poirier is walking out for the last time in front of his home crowd. That brings inspiration, but also the pressure of expectations from family, friends, and fans. Meanwhile, Holloway is coming off a knockout loss to Ilia Topuria, and he wants a fresh start at 155 pounds. Max Holloway is coming into this one very motivated as well, because Max Holloway doesn't want to lose two trilogies. Of course, he lost 3 in a row to Alexander Volkanovski. He doesn't want to lose 3 in a row to Dustin Poirier. You've got to think here for Max Holloway, if he can beat Dustin Poirier, he inserts himself into the conversation. Ilia Topuria is the champ. He's probably going to fight Justin, Paddy, Arman, one of those. If Max Holloway gets a big win here and then gets another one in the meantime, he is putting himself into that conversation. When you look at them both, they're both great strikers. I don't think we're going to see any wrestling out of this. They're both going to go toe-to-toe. They're going to throw down. It's going to be absolutely sensational. Paulo Costa aims to bring back the Paulo of the old days for Roman Kopylov challenge at UFC 318. Paulo Costa is prepared to make a strong statement when he faces Roman Kopylov in a middleweight bout in the co-main event of UFC 318. Costa, who was once regarded as a force of nature in the 185-pound division, is 1-4 in his last 5 octagon outings. As a result, many in the MMA community were disappointed with the dip in Costa's form. However, during a recent appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, the Brazilian promised to put on a strong display. I just feel like I needed a refresh. I needed to see new things and be connected with my old style. That style to chase opponents, to be more aggressive, to bring back the Paulo of the old days. Very aggressive. You know, the fans and people around me always asked me to come back with this kind of style of fighting. So yeah, I was looking for that in my training, and this is who I am. Khabib Nurmagomedov's manager calls Alex Pereira one of the best, but still bets on Magomed Ankalaev. Khabib Nurmagomedov's manager Ali Abdelaziz recently shared his thoughts on Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. While praising Pereira's accomplishments, Abdelaziz expressed confidence in Ankalaev's ability to always maintain the upper hand over the Brazilian in a fight. Poatan was on a 4-fight win streak until he faced Ankalaev at UFC 313 in March earlier this year. After a hard-fought 5-round battle, the Dagestani fighter defeated Pereira by unanimous decision and became the new UFC light heavyweight champion. To be clear, I think Alex Pereira was one of the best champions in UFC history. I'm taking nothing away from him and have a lot of respect for him. But all along, I just always thought Magomed Ankalaev was going to beat him, and I will always bet on my guys. Belal Muhammad shares advice for those getting started in mixed martial arts. As we know, Belal Muhammad has had quite the journey in mixed martial arts over the years. After not really breaking through for quite some time, he emerged as a welterweight title contender a few years back, before eventually defeating Leon Edwards to claim the belt. While he may have lost the strap to Jack Della Maddalena, nobody can take that accomplishment away from Muhammad. He proved a lot of people wrong when he beat Rocky, and as we look ahead to the future, it'll be interesting to see what his next move is as he attempts to vault back into championship contention. If I had to start MMA all over again, I'd do 3 years in Dagestan. Nah, for me, I never like looking back in the past. For a lot of people that always tell me they're starting MMA late, if I'm doing it starting now, what would I do? What would I put my kids in? It's definitely wrestling. Wrestling is the king of the sport. It's the hardest thing that builds discipline, it builds structure, and it builds just strength. You're using your body. You're going one-on-one. There's nobody to blame but yourself. So for these young kids out there, parents, put them in wrestling. I think that's the best sport for them. Max Holloway details what he expects in third career encounter with Dustin Poirier at UFC 318. Max Holloway is expecting another fan-friendly fight when he takes on Dustin Poirier at UFC 318. Heading into the trilogy, Max Holloway is expecting a fan-friendly fight, as he says the trilogy, against Dustin Poirier will be fireworks. From the second fight to this fight, me and Dustin are 2 way different fighters. We are a lot smarter and vets of the game. I have a lot on the line in this fight. This is for the BMF title, and he knows what's at stake. I'm looking for a fun, striking match with him. To be the first man to defend the BMF title, it's history. I like history, I like record books. I like etching my name in the record books. When I go out there, I get a finish, I get my hand raised, and be the first man to get it done. Not only is Max Holloway expecting a fan-friendly fight, but he's looking to get revenge against Dustin Poirier. If you are trying to get new fans into the sport, tell them to tune in on July 19th. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a banger of a fight. I have to get one back. He took my undefeated record. He took my 13-fight win streak. I'm going to take his retirement fight. Daniel Cormier explains why Tom Aspinall needs Jon Jones for his legacy. Daniel Cormier believes Tom Aspinall has to fight Jon Jones to solidify his legacy and to be known as the lineal heavyweight champion. Cormier also referenced his own experience competing at heavyweight and recalled how Jones dismissed a title fight against Francis Ngannou. Jones vacated the UFC heavyweight championship and announced his retirement last month, after months of keeping a title unification fight against Aspinall hanging. Dana White later confirmed that Jones had called it a career, and the Englishman had been made the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion. During a recent chat with Demetrius Johnson, Cormier weighed in on whether Aspinall's legacy required a win over Jones. Tom needs Jon. He does, bro. I'm only telling this as a guy who lived in that world. I also never beat him. No matter what I did going forward, it was always like, oh, you never beat Jon Jones. That lineal championship breaks. That line breaks when Tom goes from interim to champion, because Jon never gave him the opportunity to fight him. Francis Ngannou was going to give Jon Jones an opportunity. Jon wasn't ready to take it at the time, so it keeps breaking. Dustin Poirier has high expectations for his retirement fight against Max Holloway. It's a highly anticipated bout, as Poirier is looking to end his career on a high note as the BMF champ. But he also gets the chance to retire in his home state of Louisiana. Every tear, every drop of sweat was worth it. If I could go back to when I was 17 years old, I would do it again. I want this to be the best fight. It's my last one. I'm trying to be in the moment and make the most out of the last ride. A fight of the night type of fight. At UFC 318, New Orleans, Louisiana, I will beat Max Holloway and become the BMF champion. With the way Poirier and Holloway fight, the trilogy likely will be exciting for however long it lasts, especially given that the second fight for the interim lightweight belt was the fight of the night. But no matter how UFC 318 plays out, Poirier says he's proud of his career and excited he can retire at home. I'm the reason why the UFC is coming back to Louisiana, so this is special for me. All my people are there. This is what dreams are made of. I couldn't have written this. This is beautiful. A lot of guys get to retire in big ways, but Frank Sinatra, I Did It My Way is going to be playing when I walk out of there. Nate Diaz names Conor McGregor, and current UFC champion as two opponents he'd like to fight next. Nate Diaz is eager to continue his combat sports career and has specific opponents in his mind for his next fights. Since leaving the UFC in 2022, Diaz has explored boxing, facing opponents such as Jake Paul and Jorge Masvidal. During a recent appearance on Out Cold, Diaz expressed the desire for a rubber match against Conor McGregor in MMA. If I could fight anybody right now, I would fight, with all due respect to them, if Conor McGregor came back. There ain't nobody else to fight really right now. I would like for him to come back and impress everybody first. Not that he needs to, but it would be great to see him back. I'd like to beat up somebody on top of the world, and I think he's got the capability to do that. Diaz also mentioned his interest in facing newly crowned UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria. Then that little Ilia Topuria, he's doing a really good job. He's a little small for me, but those two are probably the best fights.